Well, hello guys. Welcome back to Artemis Defense Institute. My name is Stephen Lieberman, and right now we're in the armory here at Artemis. We've got a class going on, so you might hear some noise in the background. But this video series, we are focusing really on new gun owners, but I think like a lot of the different subjects that we tackle, this one may be actually pretty valuable for many of you who already do own firearms. We're going to be talking about the breakdown procedure on the 1911. Now, our other videos, we're going to be breaking down a SIG 239. We're going to be breaking down a Glock, I believe it's a Glock 19. Okay. Now, these are not cleaning videos. We're not going to be going through all of the different processes associated with cleaning a firearm. But to give you guys a reference point, we want to show you how you can actually break down the firearm subsequently for cleaning. So, for this, we're going to be using my firearm, the one that I typically carry. This is my Kimber Desert Warrior, and just so that you guys can verify, there is in fact nothing in the chamber, and you can see through the magazine well. This firearm right now is unloaded. That being said, we are going to go over the 4 safety rules like we do in all of our videos. We're going to treat all firearms as though they are loaded. We're never going to let the muzzle cover or point at anything that we're not prepared to destroy. We're going to keep our finger off the trigger unless our sights are on target and we made the decision to shoot. We're going to know our target and its environment. Now, I have no ammunition anywhere around here inside the armory because we are going to be taking these firearms and potentially functioning them and stuff like that. So, in order to break down this gun, the first thing that I'm going to do is send the slide forward, okay? I am then going to go to this area right here, this little button, okay, right underneath the bushing, which is essentially acts as the linchpin that holds this entire system in place. I'm going to depress this while at the same time moving the bushing around my barrel. Now, this particular firearm has had so much use over the years that it's very easy for me to move the bushing without actually having to use a tool. Some firearms are they're tighter, and you may actually have to use a tool to get the bushing to release. Let me just move this real quick. And as you can see, I've now rotated the bushing, and I've taken off the recoil spring plug. So I'm going to put this to the side for a minute. I am now going to go to this side of my firearm. You're going to see that the slide stop, there is a slight little indentation right here. That's what I'm looking to move my slide just to that indentation. And then I'm going to press on this side of the slide stop. By doing so, I'm going to press that up, which allows me to get my thumb underneath, and I can now remove this item. I'm then able to simply take my slide off completely. With my slide off, I'm going to take off the recoil spring, place that off to the side. I'm then going to remove the bushing completely, make sure that this is down, and take the barrel out of my firearm. Now, if I want to do a full armorer's breakdown, on the back of my firearm, you can see that I've got that little plug right there. I'm going to press that on in. For this, I may actually have to put my glasses on. And pull out that little sleeve right here. That now allows me to take out the firing pin and the firing pin spring. I can actually go so far now as to remove the extractor completely. Now I have a completely stripped upper receiver. I've got all my parts lower here. I can now go through and do a full armorer's clean on this 1911. Again, we'll have other videos where we show you how we clean each one of these areas, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm now going to rebuild my 1911. So again, I just simply go in reverse. I'm going to take the extractor claw, stick it back on in, get everything nice and lined up. I am then going to take my recoil spring, or my firing pin spring with my firing pin, place it on in. I'm going to put some downward pressure to get that thing to sit low enough so that this little cover can slide directly on over and hold it in place. Using my punch, I'm going to place it on in and then allow this plate to ride forward. We'll try that again. This, on different 1911s, this can be either harder or easier. This one's been worn in enough that it's relatively easy for me to get that back on in there. It's now back in place, as you can see. I am now going to take my barrel, reinsert. I'm going to take my bushing, place it back on in. Take my recoil spring, place that in. I am then going to take the lower receiver, turn it upside down. The reason for this, I want to make sure that this little circular housing doesn't close up or go into an area that I'm not going to be able to access. I'm going to need to be able to access that later on. So I'm going to turn that straight in, let it go right into the grooves, slide forward, and now I'm looking through this little hole. And as I go through, you're going to see, you can actually see how there's a space, and then all of a sudden, boom, we've got that opening. By having that opening now in play, I can take my slide stop, run it directly through, again, line everything up properly with the little divot hole, press it on in, replace my plug, and then rotate the bushing to hold it in place. We now have our firearm back in regular fashion. So, again, if you have any questions or any concerns with breaking down a 1911 or, as oftentimes happens, rebuilding a 1911, and you get confused or you get stuck, always seek out the help of a professional gunsmith. That's the safest thing that you can possibly do. If you have any questions at all, you can always contact us directly. And again, my email address is steven@artemishq.com.